So a while back, I did a video on the Aimpoint method of reading the greens. It was a really popular video, lots of views, lots of shares, lots of comments. And so I thought, while I don't use the Aimpoint method to read the greens, I do incorporate some things from it, and there's some really valuable lessons that I learned from studying and trying and playing with the Aimpoint method. Really valuable lessons that help me be a better green reader and help me make more putts. So I'm going to share those in this video in hopes that they'll do the same for you. So Aimpoint is a method of reading the greens by using your feet to feel the amount, a percentage of slope in a particular putt. You walk and straddle the line of your ball and feel that percentage. And by the way, the Aimpoint green reading technique was an accidental discovery. The company that does the laser green reading that you'll see on TV that shows you the exact line the putt needs to roll on to go into the hole, you see them line that up with the little, two different colors of things, this line and then the line that the guy actually putts on. They accidentally discovered while measuring that if they knew the percentage of slope, there was a correlation between their fingers at about the joint. If it's a 1% grade of slope, then about this knuckle. Say if it's breaking that way, you'd put this knuckle at the center of the hole and your aiming point or initial target is here. And 2% here, 3% here, so on. And a lot of the tour pros use that. I mentioned a previous video on that earlier. I'll put a link below. You can go check it out if you want to. That's really basic on how Aimpoint works. Not going to talk about that here, but the lessons I learned. The first lesson I learned from using and studying and playing with the Aimpoint green reading method is the value of using your feet to feel the slope or the grade in the green. Always before, I'd use my eyes and try to see the slope, and that's great, but sometimes there's subtle breaks that you can't see, and using your feet to straddle your putting line or walk in a half moon around a putt or around a hole gives you the opportunity to feel that, and that's really valuable. Sometimes I look at a putt and think it breaks that way a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure. And I walk it and feel it with my feet and go, oh, it breaks the other way. So there's value in that. Second lesson I learned, and this will help your mental attitude and make you a much more confident putter, is that no green reading system is perfect. I watched a couple of weeks ago on TV a tour pro who uses the Aimpoint method. He missed a 20-foot putt. He missed the line by like this far, maybe further than that, 2.5 or 3 feet. And you go, how is that possible if it works? Well, it's possible because no method is perfect. I've put video on this channel before and you've seen it of a putting rail set up so that the ball is going on exactly the same line, dropped on that rail from the same point, so it's going exactly the same speed. 5 balls, 1 went in, a couple broke to the left and a couple broke to the right. Sometimes you can read the green perfectly and make a great putt. The ball just doesn't go in. No system is absolutely perfect, and that's a valuable lesson. The other time is you can make a perfect green read and hit the ball right, and you don't make the right speed, so it doesn't go in. Speaking of speed, that's the third lesson I learned from working with Aimpoint, and that is simply that speed is much more important than line. Now, granted, line's important. If you don't hit the putt on the right line, it doesn't go in, but you've got to blend or marry line and speed together. Did a video several weeks back on the channel, and you can go and find that. I'll put a link to it below on how important it is to blend line and speed. That's a valuable lesson. So if you got to work on anything, work on speed. If you hit the putt at the right speed, it'll be close to the hole, even if you're off a little bit on the line. And studies show that more golfers are better at reading the line than they think they are, and way worse at gauging the speed and hitting the right speed than they think they are. So speed's more important than line. And the fourth lesson I learned from Aimpoint, This is the one you need to watch all the way to the end of this video, because if you grasp mentally and get an understanding in here of the concept that I'm going to show you in the rest of this video, you will make a lot more putts. And even better than that, your misses will miss closer to the hole so that you don't have 3 putts. Let's talk about that now. So the most valuable lesson I learned from Aimpoint is pick a target and commit to that target. And a lot of times that target doesn't feel right, but you got to commit to it anyway. Let me give you an example. I've got a putt set up here. And so come around this way with Mr. Cameraman, and we'll start from behind. So, in fact, let's move that ball and get it right under the line. My Aimpoint read says that this putt breaks, the slope is about 2.5% from here to there. So that's, for me, I held up the 2 fingers and went up a little bit for a half, but I need to start it at that old ball. And so I have my string set up here. That's the start line for the putt. I want to roll it straight up this yellow line. But now there's this blue rope that I put in, and that's pretty close to accurate. It's wiggled around, and the rope is not 100% straight. But this is how the putt is actually going to go towards the hole. And so I start the putt on this yellow line, and about here it picks up the rope and starts breaking a little bit. Notice I aimed it here, actually down there, but it goes through. And if you can walk up here with the camera and show, there's an old cup here. Come up this way, Mr. Cameraman. It goes right through this old cup. By the way, not the middle of this old hole, but about the right 1/3 of it. And we're going to call that the apex, or that's the peak of the break. From here, the putt breaks more, comes along this line, and down towards the hole. So I'm going to go a little bit above the line just to show you the idea of this putt. And again, the speed was off, but guess what? And I missed the line on purpose, but the ball is constantly breaking closer and closer to the hole. That's acceptable. That's why you have to commit to a target line, not to hitting it here at the apex. If I aim here, that's going away from the hole. And this is plenty close enough. So a lot of people make the mistake. We read the green and we can get that. In fact, a lot of people will go, oh, I need to go right through that old cup. And then they step back here to the putt and they aim it at that old cup. And I'm going to do that here and try to go between the real line and the actual line. So what happens is we line up on this putt and we try to go where we see the ball going. So let's pull that out of the way and I'll show you what I mean. So that old ball, or that other ball, is my target straight up this line. But we don't have those lines and those targets on the golf course, and we make the mistake mentally of thinking, oh, the putt needs to roll right through here. I'm going to aim it there. And watch what happens when we aim it at that apex point. I started it on that line, but look, now it's breaking. I hit it a little too firm as well. But notice it's breaking further and further away from the hole. Yeah, it was on this left side of that old hole. That was my point. I started it at that point, but it breaks before it gets there. So, all right, I'm going to start it at that apex point instead of on my target line, because I'm not going to commit to that. I'm going to hit what I think I see instead of what I really see. And I want you to watch how the putt breaks below the line it should have rolled on where the rope was. And that's the right speed, but it never had a chance to go in because I didn't start it here. I started it here, and it broke and it missed by that much. So now the same putt from the same spot, I'm going to show you how I do these in my mind's eye. We're going to leave the rope here, and then I'll show you one with the rope out. But the concept is, this is my starting line. This is my target. To go in the hole, the ball is going to break before it gets to there. It's going to be about here. So I need to pick a spot on the line from that ball, the peg for the end of my string. I need to pick a spot along that line that's close to me I can aim at. And there it is. We'll zoom in and give you a close-up. Here's a little bitty piece of a leaf or pine needle. Heck, I don't know what it is. But if I roll the ball dead over the center, or maybe just outside on the right-hand edge of that, then I'm on the right line. And you go, why would you pick a target that close to you? Because that's a lot easier for me to aim at. Now, I still have to think about speed to get it to the hole, but I want to go right above that. That's a real easy, short, simple target that's on the right line. And I commit to that, even though it looks like I'm aimed way outside the hole, 18 inches or 2 feet. So the most important lesson is pick a target, even if that target feels like it's way outside of the hole. And even though in your mind's eye you visualize the ball rolling, starting on that target line and breaking off of it, don't try to hit to the aim point or to the apex. Don't try to hit to the apex. Don't try to make the ball roll on the line that you see it rolling on. Pick a target, back up from that target to an intermediate target, and hit the ball on that line. All you're able to do with this tool is roll the ball straight. Gravity takes over. And for gravity to work in your favor and drop the ball in the bottom of the hole or close to the hole when you miss, you've got to commit to a target. So try that out. Put your comments below how it works. Share this with a buddy that you always see missing because he's trying to make the ball roll on a line instead of trying to roll the ball on a straight line at a specific target. And in the meantime, here's to you making more putts.